Today, something troubling is happening to men. Men, who were once defined by strength, resilience, and a sense of purpose, are facing an unprecedented crisis. They're becoming weaker, more passive, and less fulfilled. But why is this happening? There are many factors at play, from biological changes to cultural shifts. However, one element that often goes overlooked is the role that toxic women and modern relationship dynamics are playing in this decline. The question is, how exactly are these forces shaping men's behavior and weakening their character? And what are the long-term consequences? One of the most alarming changes in men's health has been biological. Studies show that men's testosterone levels have been dropping by nearly 20% over the past 30 years. Testosterone is the hormone that fuels physical strength, motivation, and drive. Without it, men feel tired, unmotivated, and less willing to push through challenges. This isn't just a physical issue. It's a psychological one. Low testosterone can lead to a lack of confidence, increased anxiety, and even depression. But the problem goes beyond biology. Today, modern relationships and the rise of toxic behaviors in women are having a serious impact on men's mental health and self-esteem. Many men today find themselves in relationships that drain them rather than build them up. In these environments, men are often treated with contempt or disregard, referred to as being lazy, childish, or not living up to expectations. Toxic women use emotional manipulation, shaming, and constant criticism to control men and break down their confidence. This dynamic isn't just harmful on a personal level. Over time, it makes men question their self-worth, making them more likely to disengage from their goals, avoid taking risks, and even give up on self-improvement. Men who feel constantly undermined at home or in relationships are less likely to pursue leadership roles, work on their physical health, or invest in personal growth. Instead, they seek comfort and distraction, choosing entertainment or passive activities over meaningful pursuits. This leads to a generation of men who are increasingly detached, passive, and weak. Another factor is the rise of cultural narratives that attack traditional masculinity. Men are told that being assertive, strong, or decisive is toxic. As a result, men are often shamed for displaying traits that were once considered virtuous, traits that built civilizations and protected families. This cultural pressure creates confusion and insecurity, leaving men unsure of what it means to be a good man in today's world. Women, influenced by these narratives, often become critical of men who show traditional strength or leadership. Instead, they push men to be more passive, compliant, and emotionally open. While emotional openness is important, being forced into it, while being stripped of strength, creates a generation of men who lack both direction and resolve. This constant attack on masculinity has created a backlash. Many men are choosing to check out entirely rather than engage in a society that seems to despise their very nature. They retreat into passivity, choosing video games, pornography, or endless social media scrolling over real-world challenges and achievements. Even more disturbing is how toxic women exploit these weakened states. They use shame and guilt to manipulate men, making them feel responsible for their shortcomings and isolating them from positive male role models. The consequences are severe. Men are facing unprecedented levels of mental health issues, and their sense of purpose is crumbling. More men than ever report feeling lonely, lost, and disconnected. Substance abuse, depression, and even suicide rates are climbing. Without a strong sense of self or a clear role in society, many men are giving up hope. Even worse, men who lack confidence or purpose are easy targets for toxic women. They become compliant, easily manipulated, and struggle to set boundaries. This dynamic creates a vicious cycle. Weak men enable more toxic behavior, and toxic women further erode men's confidence and self-esteem. Toxic women often use tactics like gaslighting, where they make men question their own reality, or they employ emotional outbursts to manipulate outcomes. When men try to stand up for themselves, they're often accused of being controlling or angry, which leads them to retreat even further. This cycle turns strong, confident men into passive shells of their former selves. This isn't just a problem in romantic relationships. The same patterns are seen in workplaces and social settings. Men are discouraged from asserting themselves, and when they do, they are quickly labeled as aggressive or insensitive. But here's the truth. Men don't have to stay weak. The first step is recognizing the problem and understanding that strength and assertiveness are not inherently negative traits. Men need to rediscover the value of taking responsibility, setting boundaries, and refusing to accept toxic behavior, whether it comes from women or society at large. Building back strength means reclaiming control over health, developing mental resilience, and setting clear goals. Men who know their worth are less likely to be manipulated and more likely to attract women who respect them for who they are. The first step to reversing this trend is taking personal responsibility. It means setting higher standards for the women you let into your life and the behaviors you're willing to accept. It means surrounding yourself with positive male role models who push you to be better rather than tear you down. Men must also recognize the importance of maintaining strong boundaries and not tolerating toxic behavior, whether it's manipulation, constant criticism, or attempts to undermine your goals. When men reclaim their strength, they become better fathers, partners, and leaders. They develop a clear sense of purpose and direction, which allows them to build fulfilling lives and strong communities. By focusing on health, purpose, and character, men can transform themselves and set an example for others. It's time to reject the narrative that men must be passive, weak, or overly compliant to be good. Real strength is about integrity, responsibility, and standing firm even when it's hard. Toxic women lose their power over men who are grounded in their values and purpose. Remember, a strong man isn't just physically capable, he's mentally resilient and emotionally balanced. He knows his worth, and he's willing to stand up for himself and others. The world needs men who are not afraid to be strong, assertive, and purpose-driven. Don't let toxic influences, whether it's people, media, or cultural narratives, define who you are. Build yourself up and be the kind of man who inspires others to do the same. Subscribe now and turn on the bell icon for more content on reclaiming your strength and building a purpose-driven life. Let's take back what it means to be a strong man, one step at a time. Let me know if you need any further modifications.